All right, I think we're good now. Hello, hello. All right. So, sorry about the random interruption there. This episode of TH3D Livestream is brought to you by Madrina's Coffee, Linus Tech Tips. Just kidding. All right. Yeah, so this plug wasn't in all the way, so the Yeti freaked out and I had to power cycle the hub. All right, so what we were talking about is, and the one I have here in my hand is the prototype, but it's very similar to the one we have on our site. So this live stream is a talk about the new EZBoard, which has been a while in the works. We wanted to have this out sooner than when we're doing now, but we had issues getting genuine parts, so capacitors, certain chips, the trinamic drivers, even down to these screw terminals, getting high quality parts to our supplier in Taiwan, issues with customs and other stuff, but all the parts are there and they're being produced right now. Can you guys, someone said I still can't hear anything. I'm not sure if it's your computer. You should have heard music queuing up. Anyways, so this board is a 32-bit board that's a drop-in replacement for Creality printers. So if you're familiar with this kind of layout, you got your SD card, the micro USB. So the printers that this is going to support right out of the release gates are the CR10, CR10S, Ender 3, Ender 5, and the variations of those models. So the standard size CR10s, the Mini, the S4, the S5, the Ender 3, Ender 3 Pro, etc. And the benefit that we're bringing to the table over Creality's cheap board is, one, we've got a ton more memory because this is a new processor. It's a 32-bit chip. It's 120 megahertz frequency, whereas Creality's is 16 and it's only an 8-bit processor. And yes, the SD drop-in means drop-in. Literally, we have made sure all these ports line up, all the screw holes line up, your connectors line up, everything. Literally, take out your old board and put this in. It's literally that simple. And to accompany this, because obviously what would hardware be without the software, we've got Marlin 2.0 running on this, and we have our unified release, or unified 2, so U2R1, so unified 2 release 1, which means we're going to start moving over to 2.0. Now this will be the first board that we're going to support with 2.0, and eventually we're going to move all of the printers that we support, even the 8-bit boards, over to Marlin 2.0. So for a while, we're going to be maintaining the 1.1x branch like we have now currently on our site, and the 2.0, which will be released with this board. So the benefits are, we've got obviously the trinamic silent stepper driver. So we got the TMC 2208s, and these are mounted on a 4-layer 2-ounce copper PCB. So this is a very thick board with a ton of metal, and there's 4 layers, which is what Trinamic recommends. Whereas you got companies like Creality putting these drivers that run hot on a 2-layer board with 1 ounce copper. So we theoretically have 4 times the amount of copper that is sinking the heat away from these drivers, and it does such a good job that we don't even need heat sinks on these drivers. These drivers are actually not meant to be used with heat sinks on top. They're actually meant to sink the heat away through the back of the board through these vias. So you can see here where all the stepper drivers are. These are soldered to the back of the chip, and this is how the chip dissipates its heat, which is why you need a 4-layer board with 2 ounce copper. So we're not cutting any corners on here, and this was originally known as the Tough Controller. Now, the first board that's going to come out from us is called the EZBoard Lite, and that's going to be our first board, I don't want to call it entry level because it's already leaps and bounds ahead of other stuff, but we will be coming out with a more feature-packed board for people that want to do dual extrusion. Later down the road, that'll be much more expensive. By much, I mean like $50 to $60. But for 99% of people that only have a single extruder printer, this is going to be the board to get, is the EZBoard Lite. The board's going to retail for $89.99, and there's community support with that, meaning if you need help, you can pop into one of our groups, our Discord server, and people that are in the groups will help you out, and our people, including myself, will help you out when we go through and see that. Now, if you want one-on-one support, like we include with our EZABL kits, there's an additional upcharge. We were originally going to force everybody to buy the additional support by raising the price of the board, but some people said, hey, I don't need the support, so we're letting you guys choose if you want to pay up front to have the support added on or not. There will be documentation to go along with this board. There'll be the easy-to-use firmware as well. So literally, if you're used to our unified firmware, setting this board up is going to be as simple as uncomment your printer and uncomment your options. So, well, the same kind of options you're used to, the EZABL, the Easy Out filament sensor, BL touch support, Titan extruder, bond tack, that kind of stuff. So all the key features you're used to using already in our firmware is going to be in this firmware. And while I'm talking about this, go ahead and start asking questions, because that's what this is for you guys. Ask us questions, and it gives me a chance to talk to you guys and answer those questions, and also gives me a chance to see if there's anything we didn't cover, as we're working on the documentation right now. So the boards are in production. The pre-order is going to open up so everybody can start buying them. And then at the latest, we should have them in hand in our shop and ready to ship by June 14th. That's the latest. They're currently being produced now, so it could be sooner. But that's the date I'm going to quote. I'd rather quote a little bit later on when we'll actually have them and be shipping them. And that way people aren't disappointed, because people will be happier if I say the 14th and they ship on the 7th. You know what I mean? How easy is it to change the UART and Marlin? It will be set up for you. So we're by default out of the box, we're going to run your X, Y, and Z in Stealth Chop 2 mode. So those are quiet. And the extruder will run in spread cycle. And this is done because spread cycle gives more torque and your extruder needs more torque. You can change it from your printer LCD menu. So you can literally go into a configuration, advanced settings, TMC drivers, and you can set your stepper driver currents, and you can set your stepping mode, whether that's stealth chop or spread cycle. So it's all from the LCD. There's also G-code commands that Marlin has, so you can change the stepping mode. Yes, June is very late May. I don't half-ass stuff. I wasn't going to ship a board. I'm not Creality that will send out half-ass products. So if pushing back the release is what I have to do, then that's what we're going to do. So it's finally ready. All our hardware's done. We got all the stuff on the back end. I can tell you this has been a learning experience, because like our EZABL boards, there was a lot of work with getting those new Pro boards done. Just that little board that our EZABL, this is way more complex than our EZABL Pro board, took a lot of time. So if you can only imagine this board with, over 100, I think we got close to 100 components on this board, was even harder. There's no Wi-Fi. I do not like integrating network connectivity, because boards like Duet that have Wi-Fi, you have very limited features. You can literally just send G-code and jog the printer and home it. So very basic commands. If you want Wi-Fi or network connectivity, I highly recommend setting up Octoprint. Those two things should be run separately. I don't believe you should be running a web server on your printer's control board, because the web server can affect the performance of your printer should something happen with that web server. This will work with the EEPROM editor and Marlin. Yes, the firmware will allow easy switching of the 22.8. I just covered that. You can do it from your printer's LCD menu, or you can do it from the firmware. The drivers, TMC, these style drivers sync their heat through the back of the board. So the chip, the actual chip is not on the top of this package. It's on the bottom. So, and there's a solder pad on the bottom of that chip that's just to sync the heat away from that chip. It does not need a bootloader. So that's a good question. To update your firmware, you put you will have also the software too. You're not going to use Arduino IDE for this. There's an IDE called Atom, and we have a portable version of that, just like we did with the Arduino, and it will compile a BIN file, or a binary file. You copy that file to an SD card. You power the printer board off, put that SD card with the bin file on here, turn it on, and it flashes the firmware on the printer board. You do not actually need to hook this up to your computer to flash the firmware. This will not give you perfect prints every time. A properly built printer will give you perfect prints every time. And not even every time. Let's be honest. These machines are just a pain in the ass. I'm just going through here. Yeah, so these new 32-bit boards, in general, that's how you update the firmware. Your computer spits out a binary file. You copy that binary file to the what's the word I'm looking for? To the SD card, pop it in, boot it up, and if the board sees that there's the firmware.bin file on here, it flashes it, renames it after it's done flashing, and then your firmware is updated. Let's see here. Todd, estimated price is $89, and that's not estimated, that's the price, $89.99. And if you want the one-on-one support like you get with our EZABL, you can add that on. I think we have that at $29 or $39. I'd have to check the page. So now one thing, so we have a single LCD header. Now the guys that have the CR10S that have the dual LCD headers, there is an add-on board you can get. It's $5. And what that'll do is you take one cable, you go to the add-on board, and that add-on board plugs onto the back of your printer's LCD. So you can use your CR10S dual cable LCD with this single board header. How do you control the hot end fan? The firmware does it for you. So if you look at our product photo, this has separate pins here. They're labeled fan 1 and fan 2. These are 2 pins on the production model. As soon as you move your axes, so if you move your steppers or heat the bed or the hot end, it will automatically turn those fans on. So if you don't want to have those on all the time, your printer can be completely silent if it's not printing. This will shut off when the printer's off. You do not need the power blocker on this board because this board is actually properly designed. Now, we do have a VREG USB jumper here, so if you want to have this get power from your Octoprint so the board stays power even if you shut the printer power supply off, you can move that jumper. You do not need TL smoothers with this because this, again, is properly designed. It will work on 12 and 24 volts. You also do not need a external MOSFET with this for your heated bed or hot end. The MOSFETs on this board are rated per the manufacturer's spec sheet, 70 amps continuous per MOSFET. Obviously, we're not pushing that much, but they're over-spec'd. And then these terminals that are on here are made by Phoenix Contacts. These are name brand high-end terminals. So yeah, if your printer is totally stock, the only thing you have to do when you get this board is install it and then flash the firmware. So you open up the program we have, you select your printer model, and you hit compile, and it'll spit out a file. You put that file in the SD card, pop that in here, and boot it up, and it'll flash. Yeah, Ender 2 is not supported. That printer is not a huge market, and the LCD is a nightmare. The CR20, I might be able to get supported. We have a CR20 here. In theory, I should be able to get this working with a CR20, but I did not list it because I haven't actually put this into a CR20 yet. The MOSFETs are heat synced through the board per the spec sheets. And you got to remember, we're pulling a maximum on a 12-volt system, a maximum of 10 amps on a MOSFET that's designed to handle 70. And this MOSFET, per the spec sheets, is able to handle 50 with no active cooling or heat sinks. There's no jumpers, there's no VREF. It's all digitally set in the firmware, and you can adjust it from your printer's LCD. There's no VREFs on here. There's no, there's no adjustment pots. It's all digitally controlled. Again, you do not need heat sinks for the steppers because they are synced through the board. This is what Trinamic designed them to be used with. Prusa does the same thing. So this is how you properly design a TMC board. The board acts as the heatsink for the board, which is why you need a 4-layer board with 2-ounce copper. Putting a heatsink on top of it is going to help a little bit, but the problem is that the actual chip is not towards the top of that little black square, or the package as it's called. I see people asking about the CPU. So we've got the CPU clocked at 120 megahertz on this board. We've got, let me see here. I'm just grabbing the actual spec sheet because I can't remember. I don't want to quote the wrong thing here. And the reason I'm not posting the actual product, like the CPU part number and everything, is because we've already had Chinese companies and other people in the community try to knock this off before it's even out. So I am obscuring that information. So this processor, and if you guys know a little bit about this, you can probably figure out what chip we're using, but this is a 120 megahertz CPU, 64K of memory, okay, and 512K of flash. So over twice the amount of memory on a 2560 board, 4 times the memory of a stock Ender 3, Ender 5 regular CR10 board. Dual Z-axis. So the printers, most of your printers are going to have the higher end board that will be coming out in a few months after this one will have dual Z outputs. Your Ender 3s and your CR10s typically have a single one, but I will ask our supplier if they can make us little adapter boards and have those as add-on, because I think some of the CR10Ss might have had dual, but the ones I've seen, they had one plug and they were wired in parallel. So basically one stepper plug, and then they just have the wires spliced in to one. I'm just looking here through chat right now. So if you guys see me just kind of looking down, not talking, I'm reading chat. And I'm going to note this right now, the dual Z axis. Because we can just have a parallel board. I can also have a wiring note. There will be BL Touch as there is in, there's a servo header on here. So you can hook a BL Touch of it. You do not need a pin 27 board. There's a dedicated BL Touch header on here. Yeah, the CR10S board, the dual Z stepper outputs is literally just parallel. So if you took the 2 plugs, lined up the ends together, and literally just cut them both off and wired wire 1 to wire 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4, 4 to 4, that's all that board's doing. Okay, I'm pretty sure someone already makes separate breakout boards, so maybe I can just source those. So I'm making a note here. So I'm going to make, let me go to my product development, and I'm going to make a new note here, because this is one reason I wanted to have on here. The fan will stay on for 2 minutes after all the heaters and motors shut off. No, we're not doing integrated EZABL. We're trying to keep the boards lean, and I don't want to, integrated EZABL control board on here is the equivalent of a router modem combination, which means if one part goes out, you have to replace the whole thing. So, all right, EZBoard stream notes. Okay, so we need to see about carrying a dual Z adapter board, which I'm sure I could source by the time they come in, because like I said, we expect to have these no later than the 14th. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and after this is done, so I'm going to stay on here till 5 answering all your guys' questions, and then we're going to go ahead and turn the pre-order on. This will not work with the CRX. And this will not work with the CR10S printers that have the touchscreen. So if you have a touchscreen, we can't support your printer because the touchscreens are limiting it. Yeah, and the EZABL Pro will work with this board just like it does with your standard board. So, and all the original EZABLs. They'll all work exactly the same. And that's another reason I don't like putting, that's why I don't like boards that take web integration and put it on your printer control board, because if that part fails, your board's shot. Matt, USB out with 3 amp power. I'm not going to divulge anything. This board will not have it, but that might be a feature on a higher end, higher price model that we may or may not be working on. The higher end board that we're still working on right now is going to have dual extrusion support. We figure a lot of people don't like dual extrusion or don't use it, so we wanted to have a lower cost board that's packed with features that, you know, was more affordable. And then we're going to have a higher end one that is still being tested right now. And I really can't say much because we do have stuff going on that board that I'm under an NDA about. So, but this is going to be our drop-in replacement here. Jerry, I see Nightbot got a little handsy there. Let me throttle him back. The board is $89.99. I'm not sure why I can't join my own chat through OBS. It's really weird. I'm going to have to do this old school and just pop it up in my browser, pop out chat. So, but this board is going to cover 90+% people's use cases, what they do for their printers. So, and I look at it this way. I was going to come out with one board just loaded up with a ton of features, but it was going to be a higher price. And, you know, I started talking with people and they're like, well, I'm not going to use half these features. Why would I get a board that I'm not paying for half these features, that I'm not using half the features on? You're like, you're right. So, yeah, Aaron, come on in. It's on my desk. You know, so we're going to have this model, which will suit most people's needs. And then for those of you guys that want just overkill, that will be coming out in a few months. Yes, thermal runaway. That shouldn't even be a question. Don't just assume that anything we put out has thermal runaway on it, because we're not idiots and I don't endanger our customers. Hang on, I'm just going through here. I think I answered that. Yeah, you will be able to use a BL Touch. There's a servo header on here. I'm gonna pull up the product page here. Oh, sorry, my pool boy just came in. Oh, I'm handing you a board. Here you go. No, that's Can you shut that? That blew open. Let's see here. So we finally opened up our pool. And Aaron. Okay, well, here, I've got a printer here. Let me shut the fans off in here. And let me see if my webcam will reach over here. Let's see. Let me take you guys with me here on a little trip. Can we do it? Can we do it? This is gonna be a little awkward because like this cable is directly plugged into my computer, but here I can. This has the EZBoard in it. Okay. So ignore the mess here. This is my test machine. This has been running for a couple of months just to make sure it actually works, because we actually like to test the stuff we sell before I start selling to you guys and take your hard-earned money. So I'm going to put this right by the printer, okay? Right by the printer. And you're going to hear the fans before you hear anything else. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go to Motion and Auto Home. This has got our EZBoard Pro on here. I'll make sure there's nothing on the nozzle. We should be good. Don't want to crash the bed because there's stuff on the nozzle. Yeah, so I mean, you can hear the motors moving a little bit, and I do have my Z in spread cycle mode, so you might be able to hear that a little bit. But let me do this. Let me change my camera input here. So hang on. Let me see if I can move this camera. I think we're good. All right. So, those of you asking how easy it is it to change your stepping mode? So we can go here, we can go to Configuration, Advanced Settings, and then we have our TMC drivers here. Now, I can set my driver current here. Here's my X, Y, Z, and my E. Here's all my VREFs. And then I can even change the stepping mode right on the fly. So right now you can see Stealth Chop is disabled for Z and E. And if I press that, instantly, it's now no longer in Stealth Chop mode. This is something you cannot do on Creality's board because they didn't properly wire it. And that just that board chip doesn't have the actual pins to handle that. Put some filament back here. But it's that simple. You can literally change all this. I've also got, where is it? It's in the main. Here we go. This is the real feature here, okay? Right here. And you can do this while it's printing because we got enough horsepower on this processor to handle it that it doesn't even matter. I can't see chat, so I'm gonna check. But yeah, we got cool little fun stuff on here. We've also got Space Invaders here. Yeah. So your printer now can entertain you while you're waiting for it to print. So, and the only thing is to back out of this game, I think you would just have to die. So there's one. Come on, let's die. I gotta talk to Scott about this, like see if we can press and hold and that would like delete or back out, you know what I mean? Unless I just go over here. Maybe he has something else that I didn't think of. I guess not. And they're not shooting at me. Why are they not shooting at me? I just want to go back to my screen. I wonder if I just like don't. Yeah, I think if I just leave it, maybe it'll go back. So, but yeah, there's fun little stuff like that built onto the board, and we got a 32-bit processor, so we got plenty of horsepower to play with. Oh, I didn't get it in time. I just want to die. There we go. Come on. Kill me. Kill me. I want to get out of this menu. I really got to tell Scott, hey, we need a way to exit Space Invaders. So there's also Snake. But yeah, all the same stuff here. It's got SD. You can, there's nothing on mine. I use Octoprint. So, but here, let's do this again just so you guys can see here. And you can see it's dead silent. There we go. There's no noise at all. The fans are the loudest part of this machine. So anyways, I'm going to move this back and put my camera back where it's supposed to go. You see Aaron's out there with the dogs. There's Blue and Clara, and Aaron's doing stuff with, I think he's just sitting by the pool, but he was helping us get it cleaned. He really wants to swim. Come on, get back on my monitor. All right. Because tripod mounts for the cameras are expensive. The easy out sensors will work with this board without any easy out board needed. So, anyways, yeah, you can't exit that game for some reason. I don't know. I figured Scott would have been like, just press and hold, but apparently not. You have to die. But it's just fun. D-Park, I'm sorry, Nightbot Nightbot is, I'm just going to disable him because he's like getting a little handsy with banning people. So here's what we're going to do. I have 100 of these coming in. Like I said, they will be shipping no later than June 14th. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm on our site right now. I need to make sure I enable the pre-order feature so everybody knows, because you guys obviously on stream know that this is a pre-order. and they're on the way. This isn't a crowdfunding project. We've already put forth all the money to get these boards made. We're just giving you a chance to buy them and reserve your spot, so you get them as soon as we get them. Yes, the hot end will stay on for a couple minutes after the print is done to cool it down. And actually, how it works is it will keep the fans on as long as the hot end's past a certain temperature, and I have the firmware set that it will run the fans once the hot end gets past 50, or the bed is on, or the motors are on. So if your bed's on, your motors are on, or your hot end is past 50C, the fans you hook up to that second fan header are going to turn on, and then they'll turn off automatically. If it's a motor and it's not the hot end, it's a 2-minute timeout. All right, here. So here's the product link. I am on my back end right now. And make sure you guys, if you are going to the if you have a CR10S, so a printer that has 2 LCD headers, select the optional Creality dual cable LCD adapter board. That has to be used with that. So if you have an LCD that has EXP1 and EXP2 and not one that has the EXP3 or just the single header, you need the dual adapter board. You could use the board on other printers. It's a printer board. You could modify the firmware. The firmware is not posted yet, but it will be sent out to everybody that buys these. So it's not going to be on the site right away. It will be available direct to customers. I don't want to publicly post it. It is GPL, so you can do whatever you want with it after you get it from us. That's how the license works. But we've already had other people threaten to copy this already and other stuff. And I just want to make it a little harder for the people that are trying to write off our backs, because it took a lot of work to get Marlin 2.0 reliably running on here, because Marlin 2.0 is not an official release yet. So we had to do a lot of work on our end to get Marlin 2.0 running correctly and reliably. And this printer, I've had 0 issues with the build that's on here, and I'm comfortable shipping it because we've been using it heavily. So, all right, let me see how this works. I just added this plugin to our site. Enable pre-orders. Inventory. Okay. So we're going to allow pre-orders and back orders. So then we can just immediately order more boards, but we have 100 coming right now. So, all right. I think the stream is going good. If you're talking about the video, that's my camera. I think the camera's overheating. It's a little old. I'm going to go ahead and I have to export this information here. There's a bunch of people signed up on the notification list for this board, so I want to make sure they get emailed. All right, I need to check what is going on here? Vicetech is coming out with the 2209s. Are you sure? I haven't heard anything about the 2209s yet. Oh, maybe they lifted the embargo on those. Because the 2209s cost a lot more per chip than the 2208s. Let me see, because let me double check before I say anything. Okay, so they did release the 2209 data sheet. Okay, so obviously since on their site I can talk about it. The Pro board will have the 2209s. The 2208s are ones that have been out for a little bit, and those are the silent ones. The main difference between the 2208s and the 2209s is the StallGuard 4 for sensorless homing, and the what's the word I'm looking for? And they run cooler. That's about it. So, but those weren't ready. They're not ready for production. They haven't been able to sell chips yet. So, but we have them here to test. They function just like the 2208s. So anyways, I wish they would have told us because we had to sign an NDA to get those chips. And they apparently failed to inform us that, hey, we've publicly posted information about the 2209s. So, but again, I want to test those new chips and make sure they actually work correctly. I know the 2208s are solid. All right, let's see if this works here. These MOSFETs, the actual physical chip is rated for up to 70 amps with cooling, 50 amps with no cooling, and our printers pull at max on a 12-volt machine with a heated bed 10. So you can do the math and see it's way more than we need. All right, I'm curious to see how my site's going to behave because there were like 700 people. And I think it's going to email those people when I hit here. You have to buy support with the board. So if you're going to want support, you have to buy it with the board. You cannot purchase it separately. Otherwise, you're restricted to the community support. So you can post in there. I go through and check our support communities and reply when I get time. But I take care of the tickets coming in through our actual support desk for the higher level support before we do those. I'm just checking our... Yeah, they made a big deal about us not talking about the 2209s. It'll probably heat the same as your stock one. Oh yeah, that's a good question. Yes, we do have caps and diodes to protect the steppers because we know how to properly design a product here. All right, let's see if the site took. Oh, the site. Yeah. Yeah, give it a sec. It'll come back up. It's probably because of the emails going out. I'm going to manually send out an email. That's why I exported the list of subscribers. Give me a second here. Yeah, the CPU load's not bad. I think it was just WordPress. I think WordPress just took a shit, which I'm not surprised. Usually, like, if I have about 30 or 40 people on the out-of-stock notification list, it's not a big deal. But that plugin it takes a lot of horsepower for it to send out those emails, and that's what causes it to do what it's doing. And it looks like we're back now, so we should be good. I haven't played with the 2660s. Maybe I'll SiteGround if the site does crash. Yeah, I'm seeing that it's unavailable. I'm looking at the CPU on our VPS right now. We're only at 50%. It could still just be trying to send out those emails on the back end. And for those asking if we're going to sell Creality SolidBoard, we're not, because I don't want to deal with all the warranty replacements down the road when they start going out and failing. Yeah, my site is not having a good time. I'm going to contact them right now. This is really disappointing. We pay them a lot a month. Luckily, they have support. So I'm going to get on the horn with the site is down with SiteGround. Yep, I'm contacting them right now. And they've got live chat. I kind of figured this was going to happen, to be completely honest, because that plugin sent out so many emails. I should have I exported them, so I have the ones of people that signed up. Yeah, it's still just not happy with me. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can put this site in maintenance mode when it comes back. Of course it's got to crap the bed when we have something important to announce. I have a feeling it was the plugin that was collecting the emails. So I think in the future what I'm going to do is I'm going to export those emails, clear that list, so when I put the product in stock, it doesn't. And they're supposed to auto scale our server too. So yay, the joys of this crap. Wow, they're getting back to me right now, so. I'm just checking group posts here. We're not gonna, you could technically use this board in any printer, but we are only going to support the printers listed. So if you want to modify the firmware to work with your specific machine, you can, but we are not going to be able to provide support for that. We might later on, but right now we're focusing on supporting a specific set of machines so that we can guarantee that it works, and then scaling up from there. I'm checking here right now. They said they're taking a look at the what's the word I'm looking for? They're looking at the site right now, so my office is messier than usual because right now we are building out a new office, which the paint is currently drying right now. So I'm gonna show that, but I don't want to show like the entire camera system here. Let me see. There we go. So there's the new soon-to-be office for myself and Aaron. It was one of our garage bays, as you can see. And this is why I haven't been on much, is because we've been working on this. So we had to build, so I think you guys can see my cursor. Yeah, so this whole wall here is new. We put this in, had to drywall it, patch it, tape it. Yeah, I mean, you guys can order if you want, or just hold off. So I have the support for the company that hosts our site, which is SiteGround. I have a feeling it's not them, it's the what's the word I'm looking for? It's the plugin that sends out those emails. It just was crap in the bed. I'm looking to see here. I think it's advanced. Yeah, the higher end board with more features for, like, if you're looking for dual extrusion, that kind of stuff, that'll be out in about 2 months' time. We're already working on it right now. It's just that one we don't even have a prototype for that one. That one's going to be built off of this one. So we're going to take the base of this one and add more features onto it. But it's going to be more expensive. So I hope you guys are happy with the price. I brought it down. Like I said, we removed the support, like not forcing everybody to have to pay for support, because most of you guys, like, we're going to have awesome documentation with this. You're probably not going to need help getting it set up. I'm just checking my database here to see if I can somehow fix the site down myself. Because he's looking at it. He might have pulled it down. So here's what's going to happen. The way the pre-order works is I set a stock number of what we have coming in. So I set the number of the boards we have coming in, which was 100 boards. But they're going to be allowed to be on back order. So what will happen is if we sell past the 100 boards, we're just going to tell the supplier, hey, we need X amount more, and keep them coming. And then it will be a regularly stocked item once we get through the initial push of all these orders. But we've been testing this board for close to 6 months here, so yeah, the website's down. Don't try to order right now. I can't even get to the back end, but I'm on here. Okay, they just got back to me. We noticed a high load. Just launched a new product. Probably have about 500 people hitting the site right now. I really don't want to like leave WordPress. Like I love WordPress, but we do have a beefy server. I think it was that plugin that sends out the emails. So I'm gonna have to export the emails, remove them from the database, and then send out email through like MailChimp, which is what I'm gonna do. I exported those. Yeah, it does have auto scaling, which it should have scaled. I'm trying to figure out why, but it didn't. I'm looking at the CPU charts. We've got 4 cores, 8 gigs of RAM. We're sitting at barely 50% of those 4 cores. So I'm showing just like 1.8 cores, 1.78 cores out of 4 using it. Let's see how RAM's looking. RAM is at 2 gigs out of 8. It's got to be that plugin. The site came back up. Let me came up for a sec. I was trying to put in maintenance mode so people can stop hitting the site for a sec. I just need to get in, turn maintenance mode on. That would at least let whatever is queued up in there finish. Okay, maintenance mode. Damn. Come on. I'm just checking. Oh, the chip hound? She's outside with Aaron right now. I gotta get back to painting. Our CPU load seems pretty... It's higher than normal, but not anything crazy. Yeah, I don't understand what the issue is here. I'm gonna check if it'll auto scale here. Maybe that'll help. This is the joys of running your own website. The alternative is I go over to something like what's the word I'm looking for? like Shopify, but Shopify is just a pain. All right, let's see if my maintenance mode went through. Yeah, I don't think the scaling is the issue. I think it's that plugin. I gotta find a better plugin for collecting out of stock notifications because that's a little ridiculous. So the guy just opened a ticket and then closed it out. He didn't actually fix the site. So there's that. Can you guys see like a coming soon maintenance page? Okay. I see a maintenance page now. That's good. Okay. So we can let that finish its emails here. Hopefully a bunch of people don't get spammed. Okay, I see my CPU usage dropping, so that plugin is probably finishing its deeds here. Okay. That's good. I can get in the back end now. Where is that plugin? Can't remember what it's called. I think it's out of stock plugin? No. Where is it? Advanced notifications, blah, blah, blah. Product stock alert. That's what I was looking for. No, the site doesn't work like it can't auto charge you because there's multiple confirmations to like for the payment and then it tending to the processor and processor sending it back. It can't multi-charge like that. All right, so I think we should be good. I just deactivated that plugin that sent out the emails. I'm going to manually send out an email here. Let's see if that see if we're in the clear now. Yeah, because our memory usage and our CPU usage, it's higher than normal, but it's not past what we're paying for. I don't see any duplicate orders in here. I see some orders here. Nope, it went down again. Great. No one should get the email alerts again because that plugin's off. Well, while I figure out what's going on here, I'm gonna wrap this up and I'm gonna go yell at our hosting company. So only 10 orders got through so far. So anyways, let me go yell at my hosting company and berate them for running an incompetent box because it's not maxing out our resources, so there should be no reason that this is crashing. There should be no reason whatsoever that it's crashing. Like, it... the only thing I think of is one of these plugins we have here. So anyways, it should show the maintenance page. So anyways, I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna yell at SiteGround and get them to fix this. So anyways, sorry about technical difficulties. Obviously this is a good test, so if we run a big sale, we need to figure out what's going on here and see what's causing this issue. So I'm gonna have to go through and pull some logs. So anyways, check back in about 15 minutes. I have the I'll have that back up. So at about 5:15, it'll be back. I'm going to manually set the site back out of maintenance mode. So if you guys have any questions, just shoot us an email and let me know. Take it easy, everybody. Have a good weekend. I got to go get back to painting the new office.